S&D helps us create variety, a variety offer for our customer. The number one, hands down, is, regular coffee. They've given us the ability to also offer multiple varieties of flavored coffees, single origin coffees, coupled with some of the cappuccinos and lattes and various teas. We have a very vast offer.
There is a saying, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. Well, looks can be deceiving. Meet the 2011 CSP Retail Leader of the Year, Joe DePinto.
I guess, really, it's not that there's a secret, Joe. It's that what you see really is what you get. Joe really is that open, that down to earth, and just that real.
Joe and his grandma were just say 2 peas in a pod, and she taught him a lot about life, and she had a great sense of humor. I think Joe really did respect her and looked up to her an awful, awful lot. So I think that's where he learned a lot of the things that are coming out in him as a young man now, that he's good, he's kind, good to people, gentle. He's a good guy. I love him.
It all started in Chicago, Illinois on November 3rd of 1962. Joe DePinto was born to John and Anna DePinto. Like all good Italian families, he was named after his father's father. The DePintos raised Joe and their 3 other children, Diane, Dave, and Nicole, in Des Plaines, Illinois. Joe always sought out various jobs growing up, from being a paperboy to a bellman. And there was Joe's passion, hockey. Nothing great in the world has ever been accomplished without passion.
Okay, Joe has always liked sports. He played baseball and he played hockey, but his favorite was hockey. And he did achieve some pretty good credits in his hockey playing, and which there's some which are records that still stand today, I believe.
The major things I remember about Joe is, number one, and I coached a lot of hockey, and when you're looking at a goaltender, you always try to want to have a guy who's both pretty athletic and pretty good, but who is also very calm, very collected, because it's a position, unlike your regular positions where players need to be good most of the time. Your goalie position is more like a fireman. You don't need him that often, but when you need him, he better be great. And Joe had that kind of personality. He was always ready. When you needed him to be good, he was ready to go.
Duty, honor, country. That is the West Point way.
Joe and I first met at Camp Buckner, summer of 1983. That second year, that's when I met Joe. As a plebe, as a freshman, that year is a tough year, and you're hazed a lot, and you're really taught, how to follow, and you're taught about discipline and lots of things, and it's a tough year. Well, the next year you become an upperclassman. You no longer really have to go through that anymore, and it's your turn to then teach the incoming class, the freshmen, how to be a cadet, how to be a follower, how to follow orders, those things. Let me tell you, Joe, Joe could put the fear of God into his sleeve like no one else, and as soon as he finished up with them, he would have a smile on his face. It was never personal. It was always, it's always professional, and it always ended up helping them. But he could really bring the heat, and that's how he got the name The Heat.
Behind every good man is a great woman. At West Point, Joe met the love of his life, Ingrid.
He had invited me to an Army formal event. It was a West Point Founders Day, and he was in charge of organizing this event, and there were several hundred people there. And I just remember watching him and being so in awe of his ability to organize this, and everything ran smoothly, and he just seemed to be so calm under the pressure, and I was really impressed with the way that he handled that. so, and I was like, I think this guy is the one for me. So.
We do not go to work only to earn an income, but to find meaning in our lives. What we do is a large part of what we are. Joe's experience at West Point and a few other companies in between all brought him to 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven is headquartered in Dallas, Texas, and has more than 43,000 stores worldwide. Overseeing this $17 billion business is one man, that upstart paperboy from Des Plaines, Illinois, Joe DePinto.
When he was assigned or given the role to be the president and CEO of 7-Eleven, it was his opportunity to now take all of the experiences he had had, all the maturing and the growing that had occurred over the years, with his genuine passion and ability to connect with people, to now work with an entire company and shape and form the culture with his viewpoint about how leaders are supposed to contribute to their organization through service and not through directing and commanding top down.
You know, our culture is really grounded in the concept of servant leadership. And at its core, servant leadership is all about serving others to enable them to better serve our guests that come into our stores, and leading through service to others. And that's really a concept that Joe brought to this organization. And it really is a uniquely good fit for a company like ours.
He cares about the people in this company, and he really takes care of all of us. That's the guy we work for, and we all feel very motivated to have that opportunity to work under him.
I think that Joe feels like 7-Eleven is his extended family, and he views the people that he works with as team members. And I don't think Joe ever walks in and says, "I'm the leader, follow me." It's more like, let's do this together, and we're all in this together. And I think that's kind of how he feels about the family. It's the same way that he takes that to work.
Well, the qualities in Joe that I think I see that don't come from me, but I think come from our father. Just tight family. I am not better than the group. I know he talks a lot about that with his position. It's not about him as being the CEO. He talks a lot about his people, and the people are what make the company great, and it's just opening up their ability to shine. And those qualities come from what we were raised with. Tight family, always there when the chips are down, and I think that shows with his family as well, raising the family that he is and developing some fine young people there as well.
The legacy I see of Joe is a unique leader who has really showed us how to lead us as a servant, as servant leadership. It is, while, again, it's not in a passive role whatsoever. It's in a true leader. He is there working hard every day. It's his expectation of himself to make us more successful, and I appreciate that.
When it comes to Joe, the buck stops here.
Some of Joe's strengths are when he says he's going to do something, he does it. He's not a fence rider. When he makes his decision, that's it. That's what I admire about him. I think he learned that from all the people around him. I think he learned from his father, always telling him, make sure you always know who you are and where you came from.
As far as leadership goes, I could tell you there was a time when we were going out, and I think we were still in high school at the time, and we were 4 of us dressed up to go out for the weekend. And at the time, we didn't have warmth on our minds. It was more about style. So you got to understand, we didn't have any hats, any gloves. We had leather jackets and nice shoes and pants, and we were going out, and we got a flat tire. And it happened to be 30 degrees below zero outside with the wind chill, and it was probably 11 o'clock at night. And I got out to start changing the tire. The other two guys, there was no way they were getting out of the car. So I got out and got the lug wrench and started changing. Next thing I know, the other side of the door opened. Joe came out and he started helping me. And he right away he kind of took control of the situation. Said, "This is what we're gonna do. We don't have hats. We don't have gloves. We're gonna take turns. You know, you go as much as you can go. Get back in the car, warm up, then we'll switch and we'll platoon it. Then he'll come out and do it." So it took us quite a bit of time, but we took turns and we finally got it done, and we were on our way.
When Joe joined Thornton's, he was immediately assigned a territory of stores, which included probably 10 or 12 stores. A year to 18 months later, Joe was running 9 territories, which included probably 100 stores. His legacy with Thornton's will certainly be remembered for his business policies that he instituted while he was here, which are still in effect today, along with the demonstration to fellow employees how to do things the right way.
Just because you can't do everything doesn't mean you shouldn't do something.
We have a culture that puts the communities first. And even in this very tough economic time, I can tell you that when the tsunami occurred in Japan, immediately within hours, we were communicating over email, over BlackBerry. How can we help? When do we need to meet? When's the first time we can all get together and collectively pool our resources to help these people in need over in Japan? That demonstrates another, again, another side of Joe, where he's immediately jumping the gun in terms of providing assistance and help to people in need. He's not even going to wait 1 hour. I mean, as soon as the word broke out, we were already across the airwaves coordinating, collaborating, and he was there to inspire, motivate, and direct us to provide the best possible help to these people as fast as possible.
As I began to talk to Joe about Big Brothers Big Sisters and what we do, Joe had just read Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Outliers, and Joe said, you know, this resonates with me so strongly because I'm not in the position I'm in because I'm the smartest guy in the room. You know, I'm here because so many people gave me opportunities. And he said, you know, I think about our children in America and so many of them that just don't get those opportunities. And I see Big Brothers Big Sisters as a change agent through adults and mentors, you know, changing that path and the trajectory of the kids, because now they're exposed and given new opportunities that they wouldn't be given otherwise.
A new saying has emerged. Do it well, do it to serve. Be a Joe DePinto.
One of the things that I really admire about Joe is his empathy for people. And he really takes the success or the failure of our people very personally. And in a company as large as ours and as diverse as ours and global as ours, a person in his position, it'd be very easy to look at the numbers and the statistics and not make that connection to actual individuals. But I know that that Joe's not like that. He really does value the people in this organization, is really empathetic towards what it is they're doing every day to enable the success of this organization, and he takes that very personally.
What I admire about Joe is that he's focused. He did everything the right way. All the success that he's realizing, he 100 to 1,000% deserves because he did it himself. He was never handed a silver spoon, never came from a rich family. He did it all on his own. What I'm really proud of is that the same family he had here in the Midwest, you can see the quality of the family that he has in Texas with his wife and his 4 kids. I think that says the most.
One of the things I admire about him is he's gone into a wonderful adult and individual who I love, respect, and admire.
I admire about Joe the kind of man he's become, the achievements, and there are many, that he has succeeded in achieving. But I also admire him for the man he's become, and the father and husband, and just the good all-around kind of guy he is. I admire him.
Congratulations to Joe DePinto, the 2011 CSP Retail Leader of the Year.